Welcome to Heaven on Earth, a sacred portal to visualizing, meditating, and co-creating our highest joys that usher in the Golden Age of Aquarius. I'm your host, Athena StarSeed. Hi, aloha. How are you today, Kim?
I'm good day, ma'am. Good day. Good day, mateys. As they say in the Aussie land, I'm down under, upside down, and just in from the outback. So
Okay, well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to start our opening invocation. Thank you so much, everyone on YouTube and out there in CRN land for listening to the show today. Let's take a nice deep breath. Inhale and exhale. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men, let light return to earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men and women, like the Christ conscious return to earth. In the center where the will of God is known, let the center guide the little wills of men, the center which the masters know and serve. May it seal the door where evil dwells. May the plan of love, light, and power restore heaven on earth. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, Father Sky, and Mother Earth, from the point of light that connects us all, please be here in this sacred circle of light. Om, 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 aloha, Kim.
Aloha, dear. Oh, my goodness.
Everything.
This is an amazing continent. I do heartily recommend it for spiritual reasons alone. I've never had such powerful experiences in the desert, and as you know, I spend a lot of time in deserts, but this one has a magic at the center of it that might well be one of the most powerful ancient beings on the planet, this great red Uluru rock in the middle of this desert. This is no simple rock, just astounding being with great power to influence all of humanity. The culture that surrounds it, that honors it and loves it, is 40,000, 50,000 years old. So these people have a deep, deep understanding of the earth and how it functions. So I'm learning as much as I can about heaven on earth through them and through this culture. A lot to learn here. Wow.
Is the most amazing thing that you've encountered on your travels so far, Kim?
By far. I mean, that became a total mystical event to see this. I got up before dawn and was there, waiting for something that kind of happened so I could, and then this enormous shadow formed, and it's complete black and empty. And I have no idea the scale of this beautiful thing or how beautiful it is. And then just a little bit of light, first light bouncing off the higher sky, and it started to fill in, and my heart just fell to the floor of the desert. It was overwhelmed with the intricate, intimate beauty of this place. It's covered with this gorgeous scale-like pattern of red rock, and it rises up like a whale that's spiritually spy-hopping above the desert in order to see see heaven coming to earth. That's what it all feels like to me. Whoa. And these are people here who honor her with immense grace, and have been shunned and ignored to only recently gaining their power and their voice. So this is very important for bringing heaven to earth. Very important.
That's amazing. Now, have you talked to them about their ancient ways or their healing culture?
Not enough. I've been doing it more through the quick study and working. I have not been able to make a deep personal connection with anyone. It's a very tight-knit culture. They do not want to reveal the stories of the dream time, and they've kept them separate, especially from the women and the men. So it's a very very important thing to learn how what the protocols are in their culture for how to learn. But I'm doing a good job of figuring out what things are anyway, because of course I have some semblance of understanding of what's likely to be happening in a naturalistic spiritual culture. I mean, the sacredness of water holes is phenomenal in this land, and I got swimming in Ellery, which is one of these chasms, chasms in the Westmac Mountains, and there's so many of these pockets where the kangaroo come and the lizards and all the critters of the desert come to drink the water in the watering holes. It's quite the experience. It feels like as frigid as the North Sea, but quite the purifying experience. and anchoring. You become absolutely comfortable in your own skin after blending the heat of the desert with the coolness of those water holes. Quite the unifying experience.
And how about your dreams? Have you had any profound dreams under those gorgeous stars at night?
I haven't. I tell you, my adventures have been kept me so busy that I'm hardly able to connect with my normal dream state. And I've had a few strange ones that I can't quite get a handle on and explain yet. So I'll go into it some other time when we can try and figure out more about the dreams.
Okay, beautiful. I don't really know too much about Australia and their indigenous culture, but I do know that the didgeridoo, didn't that come out of Australia?
Absolutely. And the didgeridoo, of course, has become a very, very powerful instrument globally. And, we use it in our healing ceremonies. It's very common, and I'm sure everybody listening has experienced the didgeridoo and probably various healing ceremonies. Only the men play it. The women were not allowed to play it. And this is part of the separation of the clans. They teach everything through song. They teach through song lines. They have a song line in the dream time, and they have story that takes them into the dream time, and then they spin the song lines, and the song lines tell them all the area, like where all the water holes are and all the formations. If you were going to walk from the Red Center to Darwin in the north, you would encounter this chasm and that water hole and these trees. And they have these incredible white gum eucalyptus trees. And these trees are ghostly white, and they're the most beautiful tree I've ever seen. They glow in the moonlight, they say. I didn't get to see it in the moonlight, but I could see exactly what they mean by that. And they produce these gum nuts in profusion. They, of course, have these long claw-like leaves, and the koala love them, but I only saw koala in the zoo. The desert region is not the koala habitat, but what a beautiful little critter the koala is. I can't wait to find out more about the mythic aspect of all the creatures here. It's really
That's extraordinary. It's amazing. I think not this Friday, which is yesterday, but the Friday before, there was some magical occurrence in nature where these little fish hop onto the shore and they kind of glow, and the water sparkles and glows with this photonic light, and they all make love. So all the people in Venice and Santa Monica go out to the ocean's edge and watch all these fish make love for 2 nights. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's incredible how nature actually shows humans how to actually have more fun and make love.
It's heaven on earth modulation. We can learn it from nature. I mean, that's the beauty of it. One of the interesting things is that it's not a private affair so much. I mean, lovemaking is something that was more of a tribal event, because the tribes would have their successes with hunting and therefore feast together, and therefore they would all make love with their mates, etc. But it was all part of a powerful, intoxicating environment. Collectively, and you want to create that kind of environment. The animals do too. They have their rutting seasons, and they have their personal time. So they'll be off doing personal work and then gather together in the big dance ceremonies. These people do a lot of ceremony. It's astounding what ceremonies they do. And there's this incredible dry lake with these fabulous formations of gnarly little juicy tendrils of red rock, and there's a mushroom cap structure big enough to walk in, a big cave at the base of it and right through it. And it is a stunning little ceremonial ground that's been used for 40,000 years, and they come when the water fills up in the basin, and then they go. And of course, it's really surprising to me to see people walking barefoot in the desert, but the indigenous people, at least most of them, the old people, all walk barefoot here. It's beautiful.
That's amazing. When I was doing some work with the Kogis from the top of the mountains in Colombia, they all had wider feet and flatter feet, and none of them had any shoes. In fact, when one of them came to America, they had to buy him a pair of shoes and get him a passport because he'd never been off the mountain. And I think it's really important to ground ourselves and take our shoes off as often as possible and let the soles of our feet touch Mother Gaia and get that electromagnetic energy.
Very important. And the Kogi, I had no idea you had encountered with the Kogi. The Kogi are the elder brothers of our planet. They're very, very ancient culture too, and I'm thrilled to hear that you've dealt with the Kogi. That would be.
I have to tell you, well, first I wanted to say this one thing before I go into the Kogis. The didgeridoo, I saw incredible art where when these shamans play the didgeridoo, all of creation comes out of the other end of the didgeridoo. And it starts with like the crystal people, and then the plant people, and then the animal consciousness, and the human consciousness, and the angel consciousness, and the God consciousness. And it's all these swirling colors like ayahuasca art. Have you seen any of that?
Yes. And it's a fair way to describe it. Their vision and understanding is just the dream time itself is like ayahuasca art or huichol art. It's a vivid understanding of nature. And their mythologies explain the structure of the land completely. So they just talk story about it, about how these two great lizards were in competition for a woman, and they created the chasm. And the water came in and separated them, and now they're permanently separated. I've yet to learn so much more, but it's a fascinating culture. And it's showing us a lot, really, about what we really want to work toward in terms of a heaven on earth, because a heaven on earth will not be a technological success without a deep connection with nature and minimalizing, nanonizing our technology so that it can serve us but liberate us to experience nature. That's what I'm getting out of this. Oh, you just
that's so beautiful, Kim. I wanted to go back to the Kogis and tie them back with the indigenous people of Australia. Is these ancient cultures have pretty much survived thousands and thousands of years, if not hundreds of thousands of years, because they're connected to the star beings. And so I first was encountered with the Kogis watching The Chosen One with Rob Schneider. And I recognized these beings. I started looking them up on YouTube, and they all dress in white at the top of the Colombian mountains. And they say basically after the flood of Atlantis, they never sank, and that mountain kept their culture alive, and they had no war. So then I started dreaming about the Kogis, and I had bought a huge crystal that looked like the Washington Monument, and I had bought it for, 10 years ago, and I carried it with me on my journey after I let go of my house and put it in every medicine wheel I built around Southern California. Then when the Kogis came 2 years ago for the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday, I brought that crystal to the Mamos shaman, one of the Kogis, and I gave it to him because he was a crystal keeper and a river seeder. That was his biography, that he seeds rivers with his holy words. He can make the water sprout out of the earth. So these beings have high magic. They're 16th dimensional Stargate travelers. And basically they teach little brother humanity to take care of the earth and become one with the earth, exactly what you're saying. So this is Athena StarSeed. This is a show called Heaven on Earth. And we'll be right back with our in-studio guest, an amazing healer and multidimensional being, Daniel the Healer. All right, Kim, I love you. Aloha. We'll see you right after these commercial messages.
Do you like burgers? Then experience the ultimate famous 50-50 burger at Slater's 50-50 in Pasadena, California. 50% ground beef and 50% ground bacon. Stop by at 61 North Raymond Avenue in Pasadena and visit Slater's 50-50. Experience our full bar with craft beer and more. Play in our cool new game room. View the best sports in our Slater's 50-50 TV lounge. Try our Slater's 50-50 Burgers by Design, too, and all of our our incredible food, including our Sunday Bloody Mary brunch. Check out our VIP event space for private dining and ask about our chef-inspired catering company with a completely scratch kitchen-based service. It's all at Slater's 5050 under new management at 61 North Raymond in Pasadena. Call 626-765-9700. 626-765-9700. Call now, 626-765-9700.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
Have you purchased a wine refrigerator or put a wine cellar in your home? Maybe you have a new wine rack. Great news, but what wines will you buy to stock your wine rack? Let me, Michael Horn, help. I'll find the wines for your wine cellar with your taste in mind. We'll determine what varietals, Cabernet, Pinot, Chardonnay, what types of wine, California, French, Italian, you like. We'll find you one-of-a-kind wines from all of our friends we interview daily on the What's Cooking show and the What's Cooking on Wine show. On a budget, we'll find you the best affordable wines. Want hard-to-get library wines? We can source those for you, too. And if you need cigars, let LA Rams sports legend and iconic actor Fred Dreyer make your selections. Hey, we could even host a wine dinner for you or set up a sports cigar party with Fred. Call me, Michael Horn, at the What's Cooking Today show. Call 818-818-6400. That's 818-818-6400. Let us find the dream wines of your lifetime.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Supreme grace, lay rain down through me. Supreme grace, lay rain down through me.
It is Athena StarSeed, and this is a series called Heaven on Earth. We are on CRN Talk Radio, and I have my gorgeous co-host Kim Hix, and he's usually from Hawaii, but right now he's on walkabout in Australia with the Aboriginal people. And in studio today, we have a beautiful guest who is a healer and a multidimensional being who has been actually channeling people and healing, and he's got a team on the other side that helps with his healing work. His name is Daniel the Healer. Welcome to Heaven on Earth, Daniel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's really sweet of you to have me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell us who you are and what your mission is on this planet.
Okay, so I was already named Daniel the Healer. I was born in Switzerland 71 years ago, had a very left brain upbringing, and then came to this state. I've worked in different areas. I started in the hotel industry. I had a catering business for a few years, did some MLM, did some real estate, did some mortgage brokering, wrote computer code, but always on the side did some healing. And so when I got to this country, some guy at one point, there were like 3 things that came together to get me into doing healing work. And the first one was that this man I knew introduced me to a Greek coffee grinds reader. And so you drink a little cup of coffee, like Turkish coffee, and then you turn the cup down and the grinds kind of go down the side of the cup, and then she turns it upside back to the right side up and reads it. And she told me 3 events that exactly materialized the way she described it within 6 weeks, and that just blew my socks off. I'm sorry, I had never experienced something like that. That was not possible in my view of life. And so a few months later, when a channel came through town, and that channel, an entity called Lazarus, and I was introduced to them. Instead of saying, no, that's not possible, I was open to it. And when I met Lazarus, started my extraordinary spiritual journey, and I learned a lot about the psyche, about the conscious, subconscious, unconscious minds, about the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, etc., etc., etc. And the third thing that came together around that time is that I had some learning difficulties. And so somebody else told me, well, why don't you go and see this hypnotist? And I did. And just 1 hour with a post-hypnotic suggestions, I was told that I could learn and read and gestalt and understand. And sure enough, I did. It was very easy. And so a few weeks later, when the person that hypnotized me said, I have a training for a weekend to become a hypnotist, I went on. And so as soon as I did this, I put my shingle out. I told my friends, hey, I'd work, and that's how I started my healing practice.
Wow, that's amazing. And how long ago was that?
That was about 40 years ago.
Amazing. Kim, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm loving it. It was a wonderful description of evolving consciousness there, from left brain into this incredible healing being connected directly to the universe. Fantastic.
So, Daniel, after you started hypnotizing people, did you start talking directly to the beings that Lazarus was contacting?
That took me quite a while. I had to... when I was young, I really closed down my psychic perception, so I had to learn and develop, and it took several decades really for me to be at the point where I am now, where I can gestalt things that I see in people's energy fields and work with them.
And so what did you find out about your purpose? Did they tell you what your purpose was, or did your purpose get revealed to yourself by your higher self?
No, it did not. I first had to solve my purpose. My purpose, which I understand at this point, and it was really hard when I was in it, was to overcome shame. So I had to start in shame, and I had to work through it, from me not be able to communicate, talk to people, from me being very ill, from me being very at the bottom of the totem pole, to come out, to actually leave the hierarchy that we have in our human world, and to be free and realize that I'm a divine being.
Okay, well, that's amazing. Now, we're getting ready to go to commercial break, but what I know about Daniel the Healer was, as a child, a lot of times the light beings have very strong initiations, and they turn up as childhood illnesses. And you had polio, right?
That's
as a
right.
child at 2, and you were paralyzed?
Yes.
For how many years?
2 years.
For 2 years. So when we get back, he's going to talk about how that childhood illness helped purify his soul and usher in the light that brought him some of his greatest gifts through that adversity. Because when you can't move, you're taught to be still. And so that also happened to me when I was 11, and it was a very great gift to actually go into the stillness, listen to the still small voice, and allow that light to begin to guide. So this is Athena StarSeed and Kim Hix, and we are Heaven on Earth on CRN Talk Radio, and we'll be right back with Daniel the Healer and all his magical messages after these commercial
When you really
breaks.
want Italian food, you've got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Seekers of luscious and appetizing gustatorial pursuits, indulge your fancies with steaks so absolutely yum-yum, vegetarians have forsaken kale and Pilates and never look back. Fish specialties so fresh and delicious and chosen by King Neptune himself, and relish Columbo's Italian family specialties so delectable you'll be yelling out, bravo, bravo! And let's not forget Columbo's world-famous meatballs, and you've got to try their breakfast pizza. Oh, and jazz every night. Service that's friendly, not phoning, and at a price that'll keep you coming back. That's Columbo's, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, Manja.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? News flash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
A New Alchemy. ANUALCHEMY.com. www.anewalchemy.com to find Oramus and other Siddha medicine. These substances support the unfolding of consciousness in a body when added to prayer and meditation on a daily basis. In ancient times, Cleopatra called Oramus milk. She said, "I bathe in milk to stay young." And the Jews called it manna from heaven. This substance accelerates, amplifies, enriches your prayer and meditation. It is a generic substance that is powered by love. It's compatible with any tradition, any religion. Your prayer and meditation will take you to a deeper place for your interaction with Spirit. ANewAlchemy.com. ANUALCHEMY, all one word, .com.
Supreme grace, lay rain down.
Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and this is a show called Heaven on Earth, and I have my lovely co-host Kim Hix, and he is in the Outback in Australia with the Aboriginals. And I also have a magical, multi-dimensional being here in studio, Daniel the Healer. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Very nice group and very interesting, and I'm having the time of my life.
Well, thank you. And we were just coming off of the fact that you incarnated and then had a childhood illness, polio, felt a lot of shame, had to embrace that. And then what was your gift out of having polio?
The gift out of having polio is that not immediately. I had polio between 2 and 4, but somewhere around 14, my last illness, which was whooping cough, I made up my mind that from now on I was going to be healthy. And the Swiss winters are very cold, but one winter I decided I wouldn't wear anything more than a shirt. And I started in the fall, and as it got colder and colder, I started to be able to deal with it. I'd be on a bicycle, it'd be snowing out there, and I'd just wear a shirt. And I did this all winter long, and by the time spring came, I was a strong, healthy person. So I realized that you have to have the will, you have to have the fortitude, and you have to make the choice. And it worked. I made a choice that I was going to be healthy, and from then on, I was.
Wow. Kim, what do you think of that?
I love that. To me, that's the law of attraction at its highest level. Is just a conscious decision. and then pursuing it. I also think that the cold therapy is a brilliant therapy. I mean, I'm out of the Hawaii region, a warm, humid region, and it was in a very cold desert out here, and it has really helped me because I'm a northern climate being, and that cold air is so absolutely invigorating, and the body is so designed to deal with it. That's a stunning event you went on, Daniel, to experience that. Do you do any? How does that work for you? How did that? I would like to hear more about that.
Well, I wasn't really very conscious at that time, and I don't really know how it all happened because I only started to wake up in my mid-30s. I'm kind of a late bloomer. But I do have a question for you, if I may. There's something that I've heard that maybe you're out there, you can confirm that. And that is that the Aborigines heal quite different than we do. When we break a bone, we have a cast, we wait about 6 weeks, and then that's the standard medical know-how, and that's what the beliefs are. And so it takes 6 weeks for a bone to mend. I understand that the Aborigines do it in 3 days. And so,
wow.
So that's just because that is their belief structure.
Yeah, because it's a belief structure, yes. Well, their gentleness is gentleness is a true power, and they're very gentle beings. And I wouldn't doubt that for a second, but the magic of doing that is something that is very carefully guarded, I would imagine, because I haven't really heard about that. I haven't picked up on that. I will try and find out more about it now that I've heard it from you. That just sounds like a great different way of healing, The
power of belief is so extraordinary. Back to my own experience is when a little child at 11 came to me when I was in my body cast and told me that I had the ability to connect with my cells and my bones and to visualize my bones starting to heal, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. And in the imagination of a child, that's what I started to do. And of course, I used prayer and meditation to help me along the way and met a couple internal guides, which leads me to my next point. Let's talk about your mission, why you're here, and what your guides are having you do.
All right. So basically, the way this works for me is that generally when you come to Earth, you have 2 missions. The first one is to figure yourself out, but once you've done that, and if you so choose, you can have a second mission, which is your global mission. And so I've made the transition. I am in my global mission, and in my global mission, I'm really here to, just like the name of your show is, to bring heaven to earth. And so one way that I do this is by telling people that they are divine, that they are made of the same material that the divine is made. You know, when God created the universe, there's no such little thing as a Home Depot in heaven. God reached into himself and out of himself made. And after all, we're made in his image and likeness. And so we are the same. And so we are gods and goddesses in training. But at one point, you trained, you graduate, and then you're gods and goddesses. And that's what we need to acknowledge that we are. And one of the things that the divine does is they create. The divine creates passionately. And so we have to learn to create our own reality passionately. We're already doing it, but we're doing it unconsciously. And one of the things that I want to impart in this society, because we are at the threshold of heaven on earth, is that in heaven, still here on earth, but in heaven, you create your own reality that you are supposed to do as a divine being.
Well, that's amazing. And how do we consciously create a reality? Because I know a lot of people, they're affirming things and they're using their cognitive function and saying things again and again. And yet they come back to me and they're like, it's not happening yet. I'm impatient. When's it going to happen? Tell me what's going on with their system. Why aren't they able to create like we are?
Well, because you really need to know how you do it. You do it, you have tools, and you have raw materials, and your raw materials are your belief, your attitudes, your thoughts, your feelings, and your choices and decisions. And so that's what puts it out there, what you feel, what you think. That's how what comes back to you. But your tools, the way you take these raw materials and form them and work with them, your tools are desire, imagination, and expectancy. And so you truly need to, you want something, okay, you worked with it. Your thoughts around it are cool, your feelings around it are good, your beliefs, yes, it's possible, I can do that. But here you are, and you're supposed to expect it. Now, you may have tried to attain this particular goal for a long time, and it's never worked. So your expectancy actually is more cynicism. Oh, I've tried this so many times. Why is it going to work this time? Well, you need to truly be able to expect it. You need to have humility. Humility doesn't mean that you grovel, but humility means that everything is always brand new again. And whatever you did 1,000 times and it didn't work, you still have to do it the 1,001st time. And you still have to be open to have a different outcome. Open to the magic, open to the imagination. And that's all part of what we do when we are divine. But you need to understand that you have a subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, besides that it stores all the data you've ever encountered in your life, the subconscious mind is also here for consistency. And so you don't want to go to bed at night and be in a room with white walls and wake up in the morning and be in a room with red walls. You'd freak out. When you put your keys down somewhere, you want the next morning to go and pick up your keys, and your keys are going to be where you left them. Right. And that's a function of your subconscious mind. It creates the consistency. And so that's really nice and good. But when you want to change something, when you actually want to go from here to there, you have to, it takes the subconscious 3 weeks to learn something new.
Okay.
And so
3 weeks.
You need to make the choice, you need to make the decision. But then, as you said, you talked about having these affirmations. Once you made the change and you made the decision, now you need to use affirmations for 3 weeks to train your subconscious mind to accept the new circumstance so that they can manifest in your reality.
Okay, but let's talk about the clogs in the piping, because we got 7 energy chakras, and we were talking before that if they're clogged up with shame, guilt, grief, anger, resentment, that even though you're trying to force your will onto your screen of reality, that your subconscious will keep bringing you back the same lessons until you get it.
That is correct.
So how do you clear that?
I think the universe is just extraordinarily friendly. What you can do, actually, you can anthropomorphize the universe. You can create a person that you dialogue with, and that's your universe, and you can talk to them and have dialogue back and forth. But the universe brings you whatever comes into your reality, which you create in your unconscious mind, and comes back to you with input from the outside. That's why you think, oh, it's not me, it's from the outside. No, you create that which is outside, but you do that in your unconscious mind based on what I mentioned earlier.
That's kind of similar to journeying, huh, Kim, when you're in the desert and you're taking some plant medicine?
Very much so. I'm thrilled to hear, Daniel, you use the concept of the imagination as a key here, and expectancy, because expectancies are lowered in our culture. We diminish everybody, don't expect too much, And we've done that so consistently in that left brain manner you spoke about, that we have a culture of lowered expectations. Well, the movie was okay. Well, how great can the movie be? So those of us who are now in the dream state and seeking heaven on earth are amplifying our expectancy, and we're using our luminous imagination to great effect. And the Aboriginal people spend like 80% of their time in the dreaming state, which to me is the vividity of the imagination and the passion of desire to know and intimately connect with the universe. So I think you've got a wonderful context of how to do transformational work. Daniel, are you writing and creating? And wow. Can we package you and sell you and market you?
I have a healing course that is by private invitation only, but all of the principles and all the things that I learned over the last 40 years working with Lazarus are all in there, and in a way that you can take it with you and look at reality differently. And you need to make peace with your past. Athena just talked about, having the stuck pipeline. You need to clear out the past so that you can be in the now. You need to think about the future so that you can attract into the now that which you want to go, but you still need to live in the now. When something comes to you, you need to take it in, you need to process it as fast as you can, and you need to let it go by. And so once you're current and do all these things, then you can truly start to manifest, and life is created. You see, for us, it takes us on a bad day, it takes us 4 hours to go from Los Angeles to San Diego. That's just because the 4 or 5 and then the 5 are so stuck. Well, if I tell my guides the day before, look, guys, tomorrow I'm going to go to San Diego and I want a little help with traffic, then somehow magically on the other lane they may be stuck, but this lane, I do 65 miles an hour and I'm there in 2 hours. It's just because you lay it out and you put it. You see, I think what is really extraordinary in this world and how it is all set up is that we're truly creators of our own lives. And if you know how to do that. Now, for instance, when I said thoughts and feelings, and as part of the raw materials. If you do something it doesn't work well, and in your mind you have this inner dialogue, and it justifies why it didn't work out. You've just reconfirmed that it won't work out. So probably the most important part that I tell everybody is that your mind talk has to be ruthlessly clean. You cannot in any way, shape, or form criticize yourself.
Or doubt.
Right? Or belittle yourself, see yourself defective in any shape or form. You have to continuously be on top of your world. If you do something wrong, then forgive yourself.
As quick as possible.
As quick as possible, exactly, so that you can move on and be in the present and have fun and have joy and have happiness and have bliss.
So you were saying, I did a healing session with Daniel 2 days ago, and it was amazing. So I highly recommend, you can actually book him. There's a number at the bottom if you would like to do a healing session, email him or check out his website. But I did a healing session, and what came up for me, this is amazing. This is what he said. He's doing this little finger thing. I don't know what you were doing. You were doing some psychic surgery on me. And he goes, did you drown around 3? And I was like, oh my God, I did drown. And he goes, and was there anybody there to help you? And I said, no. In fact, nobody even noticed that I drowned. And then I got tossed up on the shore. And this was in Ocean City, Maryland, when my father was on a convention and they were just kind of hanging out on the beach. I went in the water by myself and the undertow took me. And I remember freaking out underwater that I couldn't breathe, and I swallowed a bunch of water, and now everything's in slow motion, and I'm feeling closed off and afraid and not able to breathe, and then the ocean threw me to the shore. And then you picked up on that, and what happened?
Well, what happened was that you were still carrying the trauma in your body, and I cleared the trauma, because not only do we have memory in our brain consciously, but we have like trillions and trillions of cells, and all of these cells have a nucleus, and that is the brain of the cell, and that will keep the memory. And so I removed the memory of you drowning out of your diaphragm.
Well, I'll tell you what, that actually helped me because I had in my consciousness that nobody's here to help me and I have to earn my way to live. And so I have been repeating that pattern with businesses, work, and relationships. And I will tell you, a lot of miracles have happened since then. Right after these commercial messages, this is Athena StarSeed. This is a show called Heaven on Earth. We'll be back with Daniel the Healer.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante to see memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. The Art of the Great Masters in an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old, Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, the romance of Romeo and Juliet. Find our mystical Room of the Moon, and don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, and make all of our sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. Pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, all you can eat, just $21.95. And Angelo's and Vinci's has been named the best Italian restaurant in Orange County 2 years in a row, and our owner has been named Restaurateur of the Year. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 714-879-4022 or angelosandvinci's.com.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
Supreme grace, lay rain down to me.
Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and this is a series called Heaven on Earth on CRN Talk Radio with my gorgeous co-host, Kim Hix, all the way from Australia down under. And we have Daniel the Healer in studio. And we were wrapping up the magic. I was just talking about how I drowned, and you helped me put more air in my diaphragm. And then we went back. I actually did the meditation where I went back from in the womb every single year up until this year to reinstall the light. So Daniel gave me meditation, white light from the central sun down, red light from the Mother Earth up, pink light spinning as a wave in a 360-degree bubble to clear my auric field so that now I can be clear and consciously create with no clogs in my plumbing.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you did that.
It took me 2 days. So I worked like 2.5 hours and got to, I don't know, my 20s. And then yesterday in the middle of my reading sessions, I had a break and I sat and I did the next 2.5 hours. So it took some time, but it was worth it. So closing messages for humanity, Daniel.
Oh, closing message for humanities. We are at an extraordinary, extraordinary time. Several things have happened. One is that you create your reality consciously, that the seat of power now is in your conscious mind. It wasn't like that in the past. So remember, you're the boss. You're the boss of your life. Don't let anybody say differently. Don't let yourself be influenced. Don't give your power away. Use your will, your imagination. You were created here as divine beings, and you were given the same tools that the divine has at their disposal. So enjoy, have a high vibration, keep clear, and have a great life.
Wonderful. Kim, closing segments from you.
Wow. I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless. This has been a beautiful session, Daniel. I'm thrilled to hear your context of life, and it's very, very supporting. I'm going to raise my expectations and use my imagination to heal everything I can in me. I love this, Athena. You've done just a very interesting discussion here. Fabulous.
You know, Kim and I,
Athena.
we started working together almost 10 years ago. I had a home in Toluca Lake, and it was called Temple Sakara. And basically, Kim would come to some of my events. And then Kim had a home, and we called that the Green Fire Temple. And we had several conscious creator events where he'd have the big earth, and he'd hand people Mama Earth and have people hold the earth and care for the earth and sing for the earth and dance for the earth. And now we're here on the radio, and we're doing the same thing. This is our new temple here,
yes.
And it is it's bilocating. It's in superposition. We can be everywhere at the same time now on the internet, right, Kim?
That's right. This is the great unification of the subconscious mind is becoming conscious in the collective hive mind now. I think Daniel's a great confirmation of that. I'm really thrilled to see it.
And also, too, it's taking, like, balancing that divine masculine and feminine energy. We didn't really talk about it during the show, but from the patriarchal, where it was logic and reason were valued, and then the woman or the feminine energy in men and women are coming forward. And what did you say the feminine dynamic is?
The feminine dynamic is the dynamic of being, thought,
yes,
the feeling, the intuition, the perception, and the conception.
And so to take both of those together and have them in tandem, that's going to create our beautiful heaven on earth. No more competition, just collaboration, co-creation, and ascension into our light bodies. And that's what we have here on Heaven on Earth, is activating our light bodies by doing what? Our own work, the forgiveness work, unclogging the plumbing. And Daniel's here if you'd like to do a session with him. His .com is at the bottom, danielthehealer.com. And he also has his email. If you are interested in going into his invite-only group, you can do one of the sessions and see if it's right for you. So anyway, I'm really excited about how the earth is now changing, and we're anchoring in the fifth dimensional reality into our 3D bodies, minds, hearts, and souls. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any advice for us, please call us up if you'd like to be a guest, or please share the show and subscribe. Thank you. This is Athena StarSeed, Kim Hix, and Daniel the Healer. Blessings.
Which was most important because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio shows sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing.